Welcome to Jerking Around, a podcast that makes you feel better about yourself because we're a mess, just like you.
And Crystal makes fun of me the whole time.
And it's great, and it's real.
Welcome to Jerking Around.
Tisha's in a feisty mood. Shocking.
I'm like, I think you're in the feisty mood.
No, you just yelled at Ben.
Well, because he is bothering me. Don't make that a clip.
She just yelled at Ben as we got started here at the podcast studio.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Because we have different things we're each in charge of in life, and he was trying to come into my lane, and I was like, no, I've already got this handled.
What are you in charge of?
I'm in charge of planning things.
Okay.
I like to be in charge of that, you know?
Yeah.
So we're planning something, and he...
Why don't you just tell the details? It's not, like, top secret.
We're going on a cruise with our family.
Yeah.
First cruise. And we're going to Alaska cruise, and we're planning the fishing. I already reached out to the fishing people. This story's stupid. Anyways, so I've got it all lined up. They have one boat left, and then he calls me today. I called the people, and I'm like... Yeah, I've already done this. Like, yeah. And then he doesn't know any of the details. So then his planning messes up the actual plan, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, what ship, what date? I'm like, oh my God, get out of here, you know?
Yeah.
So I was just getting a little grouchy with him.
A lot grouchy.
Yeah,
it is a good story.
Yeah.
I didn't say it wasn't, you fag. No, but like, I'm agreeing that it was a good story. You're the one that said it's a stupid story.
But yeah, I was getting kind of annoyed because this is like on my boobs. He was kind of like, messing it all up, you know, like, no.
Yeah.
I've got this, you know? You sit there and look pretty, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, so anyways.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I yelled at him in front of you and Melissa, and now here we are.
It was great.
She's telling Melissa, this is what they do. It's fine. It's awkward.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind, like, if you do it in private, but sometimes when you're sitting there, it's like... Yeah. You're uncomfortable. Like, if you were at a sleepover and the people are yelling, you're like, that's what it's like. Well, and, like, for me, I'm more comfortable with it. Yeah. Melissa's new in our life.
Melissa, I have this thing where, like, I don't realize who's around me. I just act the same in all situations, which is great.
It is great.
Yeah, it's great that I'm authentic, but sometimes it's like, that's a private moment. And
that's what's so weird about you caring what people say on the internet. Because, like, there's times we're somewhere and I'm like, you're not reading this room at all. Yeah. That they're, like, thinking this. And so it's so weird for me because I am more worried about what people think.
Yeah, in general. I feel like that. Like,
and I'm not worried when we get eaten up alive on... Yeah. I'm not as bothered.
See, I don't care what anyone actually means.
Yeah, that's just weird.
But the internet people.
Yeah, and I don't care about the internet people, but if our friends were like saying like, you don't like your husband, I would be bothered.
Yeah. And I'm like not bothered because I'm like, that's dumb.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Yeah, I think the internet people bothers me. I told you, I feel like I narrowed it down. Like, it bothers me because I feel like it's incorrect. And so it's like, it's really
most
upsetting.
Often, people that judge you are incorrect.
Yeah.
Like in all...
Totally.
So even if they know you and judge you.
Because it's like, they were saying I should be on The View. I hate The View, you know? Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not a View girl. Those are like, what?
But like, so many people could say like, I'm a bad leader. It's like, I am doing the best I can.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm mean to Kyle. It's like, I'm doing the best. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like more often than not, other people's opinion of you is incorrect.
Yeah, totally.
Besides the people closest to you.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just something you've never care about.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm mind blown about it.
Well, I think because in real life, like, you don't hear people's opinions. They can think what they want, but they're not
maybe in the room I'm
reading
reading it, and I'm like, I don't think you're reading what
I'm kind of oblivious to
Yeah,
people.
You're right, because I'm all...
Yeah. Well, sometimes I'll get a hint that someone doesn't like me, but then I just ignore it, and then I feel like they like me eventually. Yeah. If I went off of every time I thought someone didn't like me,
that's my life.
It'd be everybody.
That's my life. I'm always worried. Yeah. It's so stressful.
Yeah, I'm never worried.
Because I can like feel the energy. Yeah. An empath or whatever. So I'm like, oh God. And then I'm like, what did I do? Did I say this wrong? Oh. Did I do this wrong? But more often than not, as I've learned, as I've gotten older, like you can't control what people think.
And if you just ignore that, they end up liking you. Because that happens to me a lot.
Always, for me. It doesn't always go that way.
Oh, really? Always people are like, yeah, I hated you, and now you're really cool. And I'm like, okay. So
they do. A lot of podcasters like you more and me less after listening.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like they think I'm way nicer in person.
And then they heard you call me up.
Yeah. Then they hear me say weird things, and they're like, wow, and you're mean to Tisha. And, like, my Aunt Carol's like, don't be mean to Tisha. And I'm like... Snapchat all the time. Yes. Yes. It's like a thing. I'm like,
I'm not sensitive.
This is what we're here for today. I'm sorry if I'm mean to you.
No, you're fine. I'm
going to be better. But
yeah,
our lives have taken like such a like turn of like
lesbian.
Yeah. It's really gotten there. It's like I'm getting uncomfortable, and I'm never uncomfortable.
Her mom called last night when we were driving to drop the girls off at cheer, and then we had a dinner. And her mom calls, and she's trying to get her TV set up. And Crystal had went over there and entered a password at some point. And she's all, Crystal, what's the password? I can't log in. And Crystal's like, try Holtorf 22. She's like, it's not it.
You're telling everyone my passwords.
Oh shit,
it's fine.
Oh, we gotta bleep that out.
No, it's fine.
Oh, and then she's like, try Tisha 22, and then she goes, what? Like not Kyle.
It was like a turn where I'm like,
one of the kids.
Yeah, it got weird. My mom was like, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, capital Tisha.
Yeah.
And she was like, wait, for real? And I was like, I feel different.
That's
I
so
feel
funny.
uncomfortable.
That's so funny.
And like lately we have been together like all day long.
Yeah.
And it's getting weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
when you reach over in the car and grab my hand, I'm like, okay.
No, I didn't do that. I was like, when did I do that?
No, I don't know. It's we work together though, and we've been busy. So like work.
I feel like we've been together every day.
Yeah, we're really lucky though in the sense that I don't think everybody gets to work with someone they like so much.
No.
Like we might talk bad about our job sometimes on here because I've been quitting so many times, but we are so lucky we get to do that. Like we literally
laugh
a lot
all
of times drive around all day and do errands and talk to people. We're on the same text message with everybody. We're in the same emails with everybody. Yeah. It's very like with my best friend. I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah. And we married best. It's weird.
It's different.
But it just goes to show, like, we talked about this years ago. We were shopping and we were like, one day we're going to marry best friends. And like what you put out there, it matters. Like what you believe and what you tell yourself. And like you always wanted a bunch of kids. You thought you'd be a boy mom. Yeah. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Or does God give you those premonitions? You know?
Yeah, like do you feel like that because that's what his plan is going to be?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. But like it's so important to lean in. With the podcast, Tisha's trying to quit again. Every time we go viral, it's maybe over negative comments come out. And not like we're going viral every day, but we've had a few.
The few times it's been so bad.
But I'm like, that's just part of this journey. I feel like if they're not talking about you, then you're not doing anything. Right? But anyways, with the podcast.
But if they hate me for something I actually am,
nobody
I'm fine
cares
with
about
that.
you. I hate to tell you.
Yeah.
Those people that said that, they don't really care about you.
I know.
They've moved on their day and they're not caring about you.
And I'm still over here
like. Yeah,
like.
remember when I'm like, Shirley hates me and you're like, Shirley, we're moved on. Shirley doesn't care about you. Like you think it's more about you than it is.
Yeah.
Shirley doesn't care. But with the podcast, I still feel like we're supposed to do this. Like the vision is there.
Yeah.
That we're going to be on the stage one day doing like shows. So I feel like we have to lean into it. So stop quitting.
Yeah.
On that note, if you are liking the podcast, go ahead and like, comment, share, or give a review on Apple Podcasts. It does help us a lot. It helps Tisha not quit.
We don't get 20 reviews this week. I'm quitting. I'm just
she
kidding.
tried to quit today. I'm like, get in the car. It's good. But I think we all always do that. And that's like, it's always hard to not know what people think. But story time, and this is about a friend of ours. But I remember a friend of ours really struggled to get pregnant and had like 8 miscarriages. Yeah, a lot. Maybe 9, a lot. And she went through, I don't think she would mind us sharing, right?
No.
She went through a lot of like in vitro and
IVF.
And IVF. And it's very, very expensive, like $20,000. And I remember sitting at dinner once. We used to go to girls' dinners more often back then. And she was super emotional. And she's like, I guess when you're going through that journey, which I'm sure a lot of our listeners have been through it or are going through it, it gets hard because people are trying to help and they try to like offer their opinion. Like, why don't you adopt? And why don't you do this? Or there's so many kids that need homes. And we agree with that. But I remember her saying, I just really want to be a mom. Like I want to have my own kids. And I don't know if God's telling me I should do something else. I feel guilty because I don't feel that way. But I remember telling her, God put that on your heart for a reason. You're going to be a mom. That's why that other option doesn't feel natural right now. Because God doesn't want you to give up, even though the world's telling you that this might not happen, it might never take. God laid that on your heart for a reason.
Yeah.
So don't give up. Like don't do the other option if that's not what your heart tells you. And then she got pregnant. Yeah. A few years later. And now has 2 healthy boys. Yeah. And is the best mom. And it was like, but so often I think we start to tell ourselves that maybe our vision of what we think we want or where we're going is wrong.
Yeah.
But just because the door closes doesn't mean it's not going to open. I feel like.
Well, I think when something's not working out that you want, you're like, oh, is this like maybe not God's plan? You know, you start thinking that.
Totally.
Because I do that. I'm like, well, it's not working out. Maybe it's not the plan.
Yeah. And I feel like everything for me has never worked out. I just had to keep going. So I'm always like, oh, it's not working out. That's normal.
Yeah.
This is the path.
Yeah.
Like when I didn't get asked back by any sorority, most mortifying thing that ever happened to me. I don't think I've told that story.
Yeah. I think you did.
Did I?
Yeah. Maybe it was on the old one.
Yeah. But it was like, so I was like, not being gay, but I was like popular in high school. And then I got to stop saying these words.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not being silly.
Yeah.
You know, but I was like popular. And so when I got to college and I was rushing, you know, to be in a sorority, I thought everyone would be lucky to have me. So I was like, when they tried to talk to me, I was like, yeah. And then like day 3, you go in and you go and you meet, and the people that run Rush give you a card of what sororities you're matching with. It's like dating app. You say what you like, and then if they like you too, you match. So, you know, a lot of my friends had like 3 or 4 sororities that they were matching with. And I came in all with my friends because, you know, your parents aren't around, and we all went there together. And they're like, can you come with me? You know, like at the hospital when they bring you in the room?
Yeah.
It was like that. And I'm like, well, oh, they have too many, you know, they all want me.
Yeah.
They've never had this before. So I go in the room and they're like, I'm really sorry. We've never had this happen before, but no sorority wants you. And it was like out of body.
I can't even believe they allow that. That's funny.
It never happened before.
Yeah.
I mean, and some sororities are different, you know?
Like even those ones didn't want you.
Yeah. Like very different. Like
Yeah.
very, very different.
Yeah.
You know? And they didn't want me.
Yeah.
It was like such an ego hit. I was like, okay. They're like, so we don't really know what to do. I guess this isn't for you.
Yeah. Shoot.
You know? And
Yeah.
I was like, so then everyone's like, what sororities did you get?
And you're all,
who'd you match with? And I was like, you know what, guys? This isn't for me. I'm not going to do this sorority.
Yeah. You like flipped it.
I totally lied because I didn't even know what to say. Felt so stupid. And all my friends matched with all the good ones and they all got in. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing it. It's not for me. And then later I learned that I need to be nicer during Rush and I need to be more like excited because I'm not fake. Not saying sororities are fake, but when you're rushing, it's like dating. You got to turn it on a little.
Yeah.
And I just thought all of them would want me.
Which I feel like you turn it on a lot.
Well, maybe I learned through that.
Yeah, maybe you did.
Maybe that was it.
That's
I do, though, learn from that.
Yeah.
So then I like made some connections in the downtime, and then it wasn't like I was like, God doesn't want me to rush. I was like, oh, I'm getting them this time.
Yeah.
So I had the one I really wanted, and it was
Yeah.
the only one I wanted.
And you got it.
And I was like, I like your shirt! You know? And I did it, and then I got in, and then 2 years later, I became president of the darn sorority. So I always tell people, like, never, the no
Except
is just
no.
like
Yeah.
it's a pause. It's not the real no. Even like the real estate test, I failed the test 10 times.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, why am I, if I'm supposed to do this, why is it so hard?
Yeah.
But like, what if I was like, because he's saying no,
Yeah.
you know? And then I'd be a server still.
Right.
That would suck. Well, actually, serving's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So anyways, Tisha, don't give up.
Not giving
You
up.
didn't give up on the one thing, don't give up on this.
Yeah.
If it didn't go in right away, kept pushing.
No.
So moving on. Talking about not giving up, let's go and do some relationship talk.
Yeah.
We were talking this weekend about, we always talk about our marriage. And that's what Tisha's so bothered about is she thinks people are saying that she has a bad marriage or is anti-men.
Anti-man. That's what I was like.
Yeah.
I'm not. I love man.
Why do you love men?
I love a big. No, I'm just kidding. That's horrible. No, but like I'm pro husband and I'm pro like. I'm not a feminist. I'm not a woman power at all. I'm the opposite. Like I didn't even want to have a job ever. I would just want to be a mom and a wife. You know. I'm so not that. So when people are like, "This lady's anti-husband and man," I'm like, "Oh no, that's not me." You know.
Yeah.
So. But it's fine. I got to get over it.
I think, though, sometimes, even with that stuff, like in your marriage, I think one of the secrets about us is that we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes.
And I think, like, some friends don't have relationships where the best part about Tisha, and actually a lot of my good friends always will side with Kyle for the most part, the small group of very close friends.
Yeah.
But I know Tisha's always going to side with Kyle or understand Kyle. So if I tell her all these things, and sometimes I'll try to talk it up because I'm real mad at him.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, you don't understand. This is hard at home, you know? Like, he yells at me, and he's yelling at me about this and that, and you don't get it. And, like, she'll be like, well, I think he's just trying to not lose your house over your spending. Or, you know, like she'll always give me his perspective.
Because I know that he loves you and he's a good husband. So like, why would I encourage you to not be together? I would never, you know?
But you'll also be like, there's been many times where I did need to speak up. Like to me, I thought that being submissive or, you know, just meant like handling everything. And that was like a problem in life. Like I would let everyone do whatever they wanted to me and I would just turn the other cheek because I thought that's what Jesus did. Yeah. And instead I needed to learn to also speak up, you know, and like be sassy about certain things, but there's a way to do it. Right. You know, and not just, so I think sometimes that's a benefit to us is we can talk about, like Melissa and I just heard you on the phone and it wasn't perfect. So then if my day isn't perfect, I'm like, okay, well, this is normal because I think you have a great marriage and you just
So if you're fine with your husband about booking a fishing boat, like it's totally normal.
But I think so many women don't have an outlet or we're in denial about things that do need to change to a point where once you wake up, that's what I felt like I was. And like we talked about that a little bit too, is like I think that I did start off too submissive, especially because I stayed home. Yeah. That's like a thing for me is like even if my daughters stay home, I want them to have a say. Yeah. It's like it's a very weird role when you go from working and getting like empowerment at your place of business and feeling success to all of a sudden being home. And it's like these kids, when you first have them, they're like a cat. They're not nice. They don't like say thank you. Yeah. They cry all the time. They don't act like they even know you or love you. So you're with them all day and then you're like, my husband gets home and he's tired and it's about him. It's about them. It's never about me. And I feel like it's just super hard to learn. Like I was super submissive for years. And not that Kyle was wrong, but if someone's if they're gonna get the say and you're just gonna go okay with it, it's not really their fault either. No, that I'm not speaking up. You're not speaking up, you know what I mean? And I think it took a long time to learn how to speak up. I'm still like learning that. I feel like you're good at that with Ben. Like you've learned what makes him tick, like how to get there instead of just yelling.
Yeah, sometimes I gotta yell, but I do feel like I think that's just in marriages. You get longer down the road. Like I know the things that like bother him and the things that he likes. So when I want to get my way about something, I just know, like, just be smart about it, you know? Yeah. So,
I don't think it's that easy, though. Remember how you said how smart you were? And I think that you're right. Because, like, for me, like, last night we had dinner with some clients, Tisha and I. It's shocking. And then when I got home, Kyle had a really long day because it's getting hot out and he works outside. So he was like trying to stay awake for me. I felt so guilty about this morning. He was trying to stay awake for me. And then I hadn't really been home much that day. Yeah. So when I got home, I was like, oh, okay. He was like sleeping on the couch and I was like, okay, well, you go to bed. Yeah. Like, I'm good. I'm going to like watch a show and like get some sleep because I like to watch TV in the room. And I was like, I won't turn the TV on. You go to sleep early. You're going to need it. And he was like, I was trying to stay up for you. Like, I wanted to see you.
Oh, that's cute.
I know. And I was like, well, just go to bed. Yeah. And then when I woke up, I was like, I should have known that would have been more important for me to maybe go to bed with him that night. Yeah. When, I was trying to be nice, but I think I was missing his cues. Yeah. Like, there's few things that he really, well, not few. There's things that Kyle really likes. He likes to be like a baby. It's getting weird, but like he likes
a pacifier.
No, but he likes like to be taken care of.
Breastfeeding.
He likes like if I make him lunch, he really likes it. When I set his dinner out and I like get him a drink.
I feel like every guy likes that.
Maybe most Kyle guys. Really is vocal about it. Yeah, he does like these two, like and the breastfeeding, all of that. But like he really likes to be taken care of. Yeah. And I love that, but sometimes when I'm feeling untaken care of in life, like if I'm not taking care of myself, right, or if I'm spread too thin,
hard to do that.
It's so hard to take care of them. Yeah. And it's like you're like the kids need me, everybody else needs me, and now you need me. And it's like you almost feel like an equal at that time, but it's like the wrong time. Right. Because like as an equal, I'm like, you're good, I'm good, let's just take care of everything else. Instead of like, that's when we need to like pour into each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's hard.
Yeah. So like last night, when I was at dinner, I texted him, like, I'm excited to see you, King of Tulsa. And I said, Kingies of Tulsies, you know? You got to add the IES. And then he was like, yes, Kingies of Tulsies. So it was like, even though I was gone all night and he had to do all the kids, it's like, if he feels like I'm thinking of him, like while I'm gone, he's in a better mood than like, he just didn't hear from me.
So did you watch Tulsa King?
Yeah, we did. And then if I just show up at
Did you do the thing too?
No, I fell asleep during it. And then this morning he's like, you fell asleep. And I was like,
I fell asleep on Sunday and it was the night. Oh. Because Saturday he wanted to and I was busy.
When you put it to the next day?
It's been like 3 days. So
if
now
you put it to the next day,
so
you've got to
grouchy.
do it.
Yes.
Because nothing is worse than the next day and then it doesn't. Because now it's 2 days.
So yes, that happened. That was Sunday night. And then I fell asleep watching a movie.
Oh, you got to do
so
something
he was
extra
so grouchy.
special.
You know when they come to bed and you can tell they're grouchy?
Yeah.
It's not like good night.
It's all like the blankets ripping.
And he left for work. He's like, leave him for work. And I was like, bye, I love you. And he's like, bye. And I was like, geez, he's really starting his Monday off wrong.
Yeah.
But now that I'm thinking about it, and then last night, that's probably why
it still hasn't happened since. Oh, God. The poor guy. It's day 3 now.
Okay, I'll do it today.
Today's the day.
Yeah, when he gets home.
Yeah. No, but I feel like Ben.
That's totally what it is.
When I make him feel like I'm thinking of him while I'm gone, he's like, he is way better about like being at home. Because I think sometimes that's the thing. Like sometimes when he's on like a work trip, he barely goes, but he'll call me, or a hunting trip. And he's like, hey, and I'm all, hey. You know, I'm mad. I'm like, oh, just sitting here. Because you're like doing all this shit.
Yeah.
And then they're off at their dinner.
Kyle that
or
on
they're
Saturday.
Yeah, they're hunting or golfing.
Yeah.
And
because he was golfing all day.
Yes.
And then he went to the casino and we didn't go.
Yes.
We went home and then
so
they
you
went.
texted him that night?
Well, so it was like almost midnight. And
yeah,
I
they
was
were
like,
out late.
And I was like, Ben's gonna get in trouble if he's out past midnight. And this
I was
go on.
dead asleep. I didn't care.
I was worried. And then it was like midnight, and I had like my nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
Which was fine, but I had them all day while he was golfing.
But
and then I had him at night, and it was like, you know, getting everybody to bed, and like.
Well, and
this
Kyle
and that.
never leaves.
He never leaves.
You don't get that.
So it was like 11:30, and I can't really sleep till he gets home. So then I said, Super Nanny's getting tired. You almost done?
Yeah.
And when he saw Super Nanny, he was like, we gotta go.
Yeah.
But like, I don't say much, but Super Nanny was done.
No, because Ben, I feel like leaves more than Kyle. Because he has
Kyle never does.
He has like a 1 work conference a year, and then he does like maybe 1 to 3 hunting trips a year. And they're just a couple days, but like I get so nasty. He'll call me and he'll be like, hey honey, how's it going? I'm like, huh, must be nice. You know, and he's like, yeah, just out here hiking. I'm all, oh, yeah, hiking. You know, like I'm just crazy.
It is hard.
But because you're the one in the shit. So I knew last night I'm at dinner having my good dinner, and he had to make dinner for everybody, and he's doing all the bedtime, so I had to give him some like, I'm so excited to see you, you know. So those are the things I've learned in our marriage that make him, like, I've learned he hates to come home. He's like you. If Kyle would learn this, I should tell Kyle this.
I know.
He hates to come home to a dirty house.
Yeah.
He's so OCD and clean, crazy. So when I know, and I'm so glad I have Life 360 now. Back in the day, I'd be like, hey, when are you gonna be home? Now I like see the Life 360. I'm like, shh. 10 minutes, guys.
I think a lot of men, though, do like that, right? Like coming home to a clean house.
Or it's personalities, because you like it.
I really like it.
So I think I always make sure when he comes in, if I can, the house is clean, because that like really,
Me too.
he comes in very grouchy when it's messy. But if it's clean, he's
I
like.
come in raging.
Raging.
After the cheer trips lately, like this last one, he like organized the laundry room, and I was on a hike for 3 days.
Yeah. See, Ben
like,
cleans for me when I come home and I don't care. I'm like, yeah, could care less.
Yeah, I think that matters to me.
So
totally.
I think it's like.
I know you've gotten better at like the dating. I listen to Dr. Laura. I've been listening to her book, 10 Stupid Things Couples Do to Mess Up Their Lives.
Yeah.
It's interesting. A lot of it's like, it's not as interesting as like her podcast to me, because it's more like pre-dating. Yeah. Like before you're married, like what you do and where you go wrong. And like, we're past that, you know, like we're already here. But it is something she really stresses about is the dating and being a girlfriend. And I'm not like, I feel like you're more mushy than I am. Like, even with my kids, like, Kyle will try to hug Maddie and she's like, hey, like, we're not like a very, my brother, my parents were very mushy.
I try to hug my daughter and she's like, Mom, no.
Yeah, I'm not like a very,
I'm hugging everybody.
Yeah, and you're like.
In my family, not like strangers.
Yeah, you're rude to strangers. Yeah. I'm hugging the strangers. Yeah. But I'm not hugging my family. Yeah. There's like too much feeling there.
Oh, yeah.
And like, Kyle, like,
that's why I give him a little rub. And that's why you're like, that's rude. A rub.
What rub?
A rub over the clothes. A little like rub.
Just like walking around, you're rubbing it?
Like if he's standing there doing something, I'll come up and be like, hey, honey, and I'll give him a little rub. Yeah.
And then you don't do it later? You have to do it later if you rub it.
Sometimes we don't. It doesn't mean I want to like, bleh, you know?
But it makes him feel like you want it.
It makes him feel like I want him. And I do want him.
The wanting is a big deal. Yeah,
I want him to always think I want him. So I always do that.
Oh, I don't do that.
Yeah. So sometimes if I'm sitting there and it's funny because he'll be making my coffee and he's grouchy. And then I'll be like, honey, and I always wear like a t-shirt to bed.
Yeah.
And then in the morning, I have like t-shirt and shorts.
What are you going to tell me right now?
And I know, we can't make this a clip. Why do I always talk? I'm going to overshare. I got to like.
That's the best part about you, though.
No, so I always pull my shirt out, like for him to put his hand down.
When he drops off the coffee?
Yeah. And like in the morning, I'm like, hi, honey. You know, like give me a little, like, you know, it's just like keeping it fun and flirty. Like I want him to always feel like I want him to touch me and I want to touch him. And like, it's just, and he likes it a lot because he feels like.
Yeah, like dating.
Yeah. And I like it too. I'm not like.
So you like when he grabs your boob in the morning?
Totally.
Really?
Yeah. And he'll give it a little rub, and then it's like, okay, and then he goes back to doing whatever. But then it's like he's happy. It just makes a better, like, environment. Morale. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can really improve on that.
You should. Let's do, like, a week experiment and do that. And you just, like, yeah, it's like, or even, like, if we're driving in the car, I'll reach over and rub his neck a little.
I do all that.
Yeah.
I think it's this sexual stuff. Yeah. I'm so scared.
That he's going to want to do it right then.
Yes.
No, and
that's the worst. And they're going to get mad at us again. But, like, I get, like, almost where I'm, like, not affectionate because then it means that.
That's what I was trying to say on that one clip.
I know, but who cares? That's what you said in the podcast. But, like, that's what I'm worried about. I started it saying I don't always want to cuddle.
Well, this is the key. You do the rub and tug when there's no way you can do it right then. It's like he's headed out to work.
See, and I'm thinking it's rude.
No.
But you're doing it because you know he can't.
He's headed out to work. So it's like, I love you. I want you so bad. But we can't. You know? And like, I'm not doing it in bed. No, God, no. That's when it's happening. Yeah. Oh, if I reached over in bed and gave the rub and tug, it's on.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm like,
it's like he's fully dressed shoes. He's got his collared shirt and his slacks and the belt. And I'm giving the rub. Have a good day. Yeah.
I know, and I think sometimes that's where people go wrong.
Yeah, or the house cleaner's there, but she's in the other room. And I'm like, oh, honey, love you. Have a good day. But we can't do it.
Yeah.
Josie's there.
Yeah.
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 Or hiking on the mountain.
What do you do on the mountain?
I would give him a little rub.
What, is sweaty?
No, on top of the clothes. I don't go underneath the clothes. It's on top. Like,
aren't you guys walking, are you walking next to each other?
Yeah, like I'll hit his butt and then I'll be like, hey, honey, give him a little squeeze. Yes. I do it all day long, every day.
I'm sure he likes that.
You don't think he does?
No, I do.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I don't do enough of that.
Yeah, all the time.
I feel like he used to not be as like that, too. Maybe that's a pivot that has happened.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, because the girlfriend thing is a hard thing. Like, because I've been listening to Dr. Laura, I'm like, how do you be a girlfriend? And I think so many marriages have lost that.
Yeah.
Where they feel like it's the old lady and, you know, like.
It's harder when your kids are littler. I think you're in a different.
Yeah, my kids are old.
Yeah, I think when they're older, that's when you can bring it back. Because I feel like that's when I brought it back.
Yeah.
I don't think I was doing this when I had like a.
Breastfeeding baby.
A newborn 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, you know?
Yeah. 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 And I think if I'm honest, sometimes I'm feeling like I'm already giving you everything else. Mm-hmm. You need that too. And that's the wrong attitude. If this is a clip, we'll get lit up.
Yeah.
But I think it's a relatable topic. Like I do a lot at home. That's more my role. So then I'm like, and that.
Yeah.
And like, you're just, you know,
taking
it all.
Yeah.
But it's fine. He does a lot of other things.
Yeah.
He does all the bills. He would plan all the things. Well, I plan. But he does a lot of other things that I don't want to do. Like he's totally my daddy.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think bringing the dating in is hard. That's why, like, we talked about this today.
End of kids getting older. It's important to bring that back because then it's going to just be you guys.
Yeah.
So, like, we're kind of working back towards that phase of life where the kids grow up and it's just us. So it's like.
Well, I think when the kids are little too, you develop some resentments and some things that you don't work through necessarily. Like I think sometimes as the kids come into our life, which is a blessing, you like change roles. Like sometimes some moms I know or some like friends I have, they get so dialed into the mom role that they forget to be the wife too. The wife should come first. It's like the most unnatural thing though. As a mom, it feels like our kids should take precedent. Right. I remind myself this all the time. There was some clip on like social media that said the best thing you could do for your kids is to love your spouse or whatever. Mm-hmm. But like sometimes when I'm gone all day, I don't see them a lot either because they're at sports.
Right.
So then when I get home and they're both home at 8 o'clock, it's like Broxton wants me to lay with him and rub his back. Kyle wants me to lay with him and rub his back. Right. The girls want to finally talk to me for the first time all day. So then it's like I'm trying to pick which one I give attention to, but I'm trying to remind myself my kids will be happiest if I take care of Kyle.
Totally.
But it's very unnatural.
Right.
Right? Like it's hard.
When you think back of like your parents, like
my parents were obsessed with each other.
That was the healthiest thing for you is not how much attention they gave you because they probably didn't give you very much.
They didn't.
But like
They gave each other, though.
Right.
It was a very secure house.
And so that's the best thing you can give your kids.
I never questioned if I came between them.
No.
It was them.
Yes.
Always.
Even we do that. Like at night, they want to come in and finally talk. And I'm like, okay, I'm with Dad now. So see ya. And they're like, geez, you know, they get mad.
That's what mine do too.
But I'm like, no, this is more. And like, I listen to you all day, or I will. Or like, okay, you have a minute, and then Dad and I are in our show, you know?
Yeah. Totally.
So, I don't know if I'm doing it right.
No, I do think that has helped. Because even like last year when I would take home from cheer, I had the late one. So there was like 2 nights a week that Kyle and I didn't go to bed together. And we have done the show more this year because we're both home. And I think even that hour together, like laying and watching a show or talking in bed, it does make a big difference. But he goes to bed earlier than I do. So sometimes I'm not ready to fall asleep and he wants me to turn the TV off, and it's like this whole thing.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, be okay with the TV, and then I can lay with you.
Yeah, you guys got to get like a, yeah.
And we're pretty good, but that's why last night I was like, go ahead. But I think like we talked about this in the car, and we have friends as we get older. We have friends that are going through different stages of things in marriage. And I think sometimes where I'm seeing is like some friends might be unhappy. And that's maybe how I felt in the beginning. Like I didn't want to speak up because I didn't think I had a voice. And I luckily saw you guys had gone and worked through some things. It's okay to say we've talked about at a counselor. And when we weren't friends and we came back, I saw such a change that I was like, wait, this is a totally different dynamic. How did you get there? Because I felt like you were more submissive when we weren't, before we weren't friends. And then I remember when we went to get our hair done together and they were home with the kids and I was so stressed about getting home. I'm like, Kyle's gonna be mad, da-da-da. And you're like, he's fine. And Ben was mad.
Yeah.
And then you went and put the nightie on and took him in the room. And then he was like, hey, so what's for dinner?
Yeah,
like happy as can be.
A little attention, you know? Yeah.
And I think sometimes like it's hard to just do that when you're annoyed.
Yes.
Like you're like,
or when they're not acting right.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to.
But I learned to start speaking up, and that was the best thing for me. But I think it's scary sometimes if we sit on those resentments too long, it creates that divide. And then it's like where you don't even like or know each other anymore. Because you've both been just like pouring into the kids instead of each other.
It's like the frog effect. It's a very slow thing that creeps in, and then if it's not fixed, it just grows bigger and bigger over time. So
that's where I think the trips once a year. I think that's like one of my. Kyle and I did because it was our 15 year when we did Alaska. 15. So it took like a few days, honestly, to like unwind from the kids. Yeah. Usually we only go for 3 days, but this time we went for a week. And the first 3 days were great, but the last like 5 days were amazing. Because like the stress of everything finally went away. And then it was like the flirtatious. And for me, it wasn't like him. It's just like feeling like everybody needs me. Yeah. You know, I'm like, you know, you need me too. Add it to the list. It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
Hard to balance.
Even if you can't like afford like some big trip, I think it's important to just get away. Even if you go run a cabin in Flagstaff or like or a staycation, like something away from being mom and dad and the responsibilities. Because I feel like when we are at home doing all the things, we are nasty with each other sometimes. But then once we're like without those responsibilities and we're just like on a trip, it's like, I'm like,
do you think that's why you travel so much? I'm being serious.
No. So I do. And especially because our kids are so busy, it's like truly uninterrupted family time. And Ben is different. So he can't relax. He's not a relaxed guy, but he can lay on a beach all day. So he doesn't, like, even if we have a weekend off, he makes up weird chores. Yeah. And he's like, okay, we're going to do this. And a lot of times we're dividing. He's like, hey, I'm taking Bear to the batting cages, or I'm taking CJ driving when he was learning to drive. It was like, so then our weekend off wasn't really like anything together, or the kids made plans because they're like social now. So I feel like the vacations is truly like uninterrupted family time, and we like, you're out of your comfort zone, so you're a little nicer. Yeah, and like you're like depending on each other more. Like my kids are getting along. I'm like, who are these kids, you know? Yeah, totally. So it's better. I feel like I really like that. And then we like have a memory, and then we like talk about it after, and like, remember that, you know? Yeah, what is the memory you guys talk about? No, but just different things. No. I don't know. But I do think that's probably why.
Yeah. Kyle relaxed out of town too. It's one of my things. Like, I love Vacation Kyle.
Yeah,
I really like
is.
the other Kyle, but Vacation Kyle's so fun.
He's so fun.
Or Casino Kyle, or like this weekend, he was super fun after golfing all day. Mm-hmm. But he has this thing, in her book, she talked about this dad. The wife stayed home, and the guy, when he'd get home, he would just start analyzing what she didn't do right for the day. And I was like, that was how it was when I stayed home. Yeah. He'd walk in and be like, so, did the so-and-so? And I'd be like, really? You just walked in. Yeah. But she talked about how that dad, it was his own insecurity from his childhood of never being perfect. So he's trained to like criticize everything for his own insecurity of trying to be great. And so the wife had to learn to teach him, like, your criticizing has to do with you, not me. Yeah. And I feel like Kyle's like that sometimes. He's like very hard on himself. Like, he didn't want to go golfing on Saturday because we had my nieces and nephew. I'm like, Kyle, it's fine. Like, you'll see them for the next 15 years. You never do anything for yourself, but it's like the shoulds. That's like a thing. You shouldn't should on yourself. Yeah. Like, we all do, like, I should do this. Or like we were just talking about, I should wake up early. And Melissa, who, you know, is with us in here, she was like, well, if you don't want to wake up early, then go work out later. And I'm like, you're right. We should ourselves so much. Like, I'm a big shoulder. Right. I used to be even more. Counseling helped me with that. Yeah. She was like, don't should. If you want to do it, do it. Because I would do things for people because I should, and then I would get mad at them that they didn't appreciate it. Yeah, like and she was like, that's your fault. You were like doing it for a result. Yeah. Yeah, like I was like, well, you know, the right thing to do is we should go to, like, we have a lot of nieces and nephews, and if I were to be the best aunt, I all weekend would be at sports again. Mm-hmm. Literally all weekend with my own. So I always feel bad when I have a weekend and I don't hit their events, but I also am like, I would go because I want to, but then the one weekend we're home, which was last weekend, we haven't been home in forever. Mm-hmm. I should have gone, but if I only went because I should, do you know when you do that and then you're mad? Yeah. Like, something happens, say I would have gone and then no one even talked to me while I was there, I'd be like, I didn't even want to come, and then I came and no one talked to me. And, yeah. You know, it's like so often Kyle's very like that. He does what we should do. Yeah. You know? And like, we should save our money. He's and the should sometimes is like distorted. That's where it's kind of weird. Like, I was talking to Kyle and he was like, he didn't want to go on a trip with his family, but because he felt like he had to do like something else. Yeah, he felt like he couldn't miss work. Yes, that's what it was. He was like, I don't want to be gone that long because he has workers, and he's like, the guys, like, what would I do? Like, give them the week off? And I'm like, yeah, you're the boss. Like, this is a made up. He has the rules. But it's a made up rule that's he has so many wrong. I'm like, the rule should be that you don't miss your son's thing. Right. That should be the rule. Yeah, you're right. The rule should be you're not missing your son's once in a lifetime trip. And yeah, you give everyone the week off, and who cares? You know? You're right. But it's like the made up rule that is like the wrong rule. You know? Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of those. Because even at work, that's a hard thing, is like to answer your phone late at night, right? Right. Like, I should answer because I want to be the best agent and always be available. Mm-hmm. And I should text them right back and ignore everyone I'm with. Right. I do that. But it's like sometimes, like, maybe we shouldn't do that, and we should be focused, and in an hour we can get back to them, and it's not going to be that different. Totally. I don't know. I think that's hard in all things. Mm-hmm. Shouldn't. Knowing what's the right response. Yeah. You know? I have like a lot of rules for myself, kind of like Kyle. So if we're not careful, the two of us could rule ourselves silly. It's like crazy. You know? Yeah, see, I feel like at least Ben and I balance. Yeah. He has all the rules, and I'm like, there's no rules. Yeah. We're the boss, you know? Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that's childhood? My parents didn't really give me that many rules. I don't know. Anyways. I don't know. I think it's just personalities. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Because I don't feel like, I think it's just personalities. Yeah. But no, you guys are good. I think, it's just hard. But it's important, like our pastor Don always said, you got to get away without the kids once a year. It doesn't need to be something extravagant, but you got to get away. And it's so hard when they're young, or it's hard when they're in sports. Yeah. As I feel like those are the two really hard stages. To leave them when they're little, and then to miss things. Yeah. But like when there's 10,000 games, you can miss a game to go be with your husband. Yeah. And like that is more important to the kids. And, it is. It's hard to do. And like, I want my daughter to see that, and I want my sons to see that. Yeah. Like, you make your marriage a priority. Yeah. Because we're like modeling, you know? Yeah. My parents Friday night went to the casino every single night, my whole life. Everybody knew my parents. Whether you had something or not. They took the seats out of the van. Yeah. I know they were doing it in the van. Totally. And they took the seats out. And again, to society, and this is the thing, right? If we grew up with not a lot of money. It maybe wasn't the right thing to go to the casino when you don't have money.
And now that your dad's gone, your mom doesn't care that she didn't have money or doesn't have money. She cares that she has all those Friday nights with him. You know?
Kyle and I, our first trip where we left the kids was our 5-year, and I had just had a hysterectomy. I think we were on the outs. And we had no money, like none. And we went to Vegas, and Vegas is like a cash place. Yeah. If my mother-in-law heard this, she would kill me. So we like did a cash advance against our credit card. Stop. Because you needed cash to like go to Vegas. Gamble, I didn't gamble back then, but Kyle needed it. And it was like, we shouldn't have gone. Like I had just had surgery like 4 days before. Like it's a lot of walking. And we had no money. We were going to put it on the credit card, and we were going to take a cash advance, which is horrible interest rate. Yeah. And one of the girls I'm close with, she's newly married, and they were going to go on their honeymoon, and it was like we shouldn't go right now. Yeah. And I was like, you should. Yeah. And Kyle and I went, and we put like $1,000 on the credit card, and it was stressful. But all these years later, it was the first time I ever left my kids, and we had the best time.
And you probably will remember that forever.
We remember it always. Yeah. And you know, the debt got paid off, and it was fine. You know, like
well, that's why we're going to Greece. Like, it's not the best timing though with Cooperstown, and then we're doing the cruise with the kids. It's like expensive trips back to back. Yeah. But I feel like it's our 15-year. We never took a honeymoon. Yeah. We never have gone on a long trip ever, just us.
You guys really haven't.
Or even like, you know.
No, and you've always gone for other people.
Yeah, like we've gone on birthday trips, but they weren't even that long. I think the longest we've left is 4 or 5 days. Yeah. We've never gone like for a long time.
I know, and I want to go. But maybe I'm supposed to let you guys go alone.
No, come.
But I'm talking myself into going right now again.
You need to come.
I just love a cruise and the time alone. Yeah. But even a date night, like sometimes I'll be like, it's so much more work. Yeah. But then when we go, it's so fun. Even going with our friends. I feel like you got to fill your cup with your friends, and you got to fill your cup with your husband, and then you got to fill your cup with your kids, and then you got to fill your cup with your God.
Yeah. Well, I still feel like things. You can take a trip with friends and have some separate time and then some together. So.
Yeah, you're right. It's all those things. Yourself, like your faith, your relationships with your people that you're close to, your family, and then your spouse, but not in that order.
No.
But it's hard to hit all those things. And then I think when we're all trying to be successful, we're hitting our success first I do, because I'm like, want to achieve. And sometimes I forget that achieving, we've been really good about that lately with work. With the changes, we've really been focused more on connecting with people than the outcome. Yeah. And I feel like I'm way more fulfilled than when I was quitting. I think that's where I was burnt out, is I was forgetting the meaning behind it. And like the joy of it is getting to work with people I love and getting to pour into people I love. But like so often when we do a job we love, we forget what we love about it because the job is changing what we love. Yeah. You know, like you did when you were stripper. Yeah. She used to love connecting. But then when it came about the tips, it changed it for you.
It changes, you know?
No, but even serving, I love serving. I would be a server in a second, or a barista. I really want to do the barista job. Yeah. Really bad.
Maybe do it, you know?
When I was quitting, I was gonna.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no. I don't know. Again, I think
I have dreams though that I'm like a server still.
Me too, and I made so much money.
And I'm triple sat, and I can't catch up, and it's so stressful. Or like, I forgot how to work the computer. Like I have that one recurring. I should like find out what that dream means. Like I can't remember what the computer, you know, and everyone's fast at it, and I used to be fast at it, and now I'm all, you know, it's so weird.
That's funny. I know it's so hard while we're living life to remember that in 10 years, what's really going to matter today? Just like we said about the 5-year anniversary, like in 10 years from now, like me going to Greece with you is going to matter more.
It is.
Than the things that I'm stressing about.
Exactly.
You know, and
it's once in a
vacations
lifetime.
are our thing.
Yeah.
I know we probably annoy people with how many vacations we take, but, and I do feel like we have to justify that sometimes, but I also think everybody has different ways that they spend money.
Yeah, and some people are going to retire, and I never will because I'm spending it all on vacations.
But there's things, right? Like, like
my patio cushions have holes, literal holes. Yeah. Because it's like $5,000 for new patio stuff. And I'm like, no, I'd rather go on a trip.
Yeah. So if you think you can't, maybe find a way to and cut other things to make that a priority. But if
that's not your thing, then find something that is.
Yeah. But so often in life, do you think there's so many things we do that we don't enjoy? Like I felt like that's one of the things, again, with my dad and everything. I learned that there was so many things in a day I was doing that I didn't enjoy. Yeah. Like a lot.
I do think that is an important thing in life, though, because sometimes you don't enjoy things. And you need to, that's like when your kids are little, like making 50 snacks, like you don't always enjoy it, but you learn to enjoy, like there's joy in everything.
Yeah, those are the things. They're like 50 people. I love everyone, but want to meet me for coffee or this or that.
Oh, like weird
And
things.
I'm doing 20 of those in a week.
Yeah.
Where it's like when I could have gone to the gym, or I could have made myself a priority, or I could have gone, you know, like there's a lot of things I go to for other people a lot that I am not doing as much of, and I'm not worse off it. Like, yeah, of course, I don't always love staging and this and that.
Yeah.
My responsibilities are different than the things that you fill your time with because you feel like you should. Those are like different to me.
Yeah.
Like a lot of things, you know, like I'm like, oh, I'll just do it, and I'll just do it. And sometimes like I've learned that, no, I don't have to just do it.
No.
They'll find someone else if I say no.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I think you're obviously like, we're called to be a light for others, for God, and like be there for people that are like share Jesus and all that. So I think, I'm trying to like figure out the right way to say it. So I think sometimes it can be a slippery slope of like, you have to do that, but then if it's taking away from maybe pouring into your family, you know, but I think that's where
even volunteering at church, I loved it.
Right.
But like, it was another thing on my plate.
Right.
You know, and it was like, I ended up.
So it's hard to know when it's people
right
and God. That's what I'm saying. And like, God wants us to share and make those relationships and pour into people. So it's hard to know what, you know.
That's like pastors. How do they do it? Or business CEOs. But you look at some of the best CEOs.
Well, they
no
cut
to
other things, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So things we've learned today. Touch your husband's privates when there's other people around.
Yeah. Give him a little like.
Tug.
I don't do that way, but
Go
I just
on
give a
vacations
little.
if you can. And, you know, do the right thing. Don't should yourself.
Yeah.
That's it. Welcome to Jerking Around, a podcast that makes you feel better about yourself because we're a mess, just like you.
And Crystal makes fun of me the whole time.
And it's great, and it's real.